The search for ecstasy and rapture in spirituality has acquired a couple of different connotations that are not particularly useful. On the one hand, there's a camp that says that you shouldn't chase pleasure, ecstasy. And on the other hand, there is a school that says that it's not really there to be had, that really it's just about this, it's just about being in this sort of lame, insipid, and not particularly interesting now, because you're already awareness and there's nothing really to do. This channel is Meditation Amsterdam. My name is Pablo, and today I want to extend an invitation for you to invest all the time and energy that you can in doing the work of self-cultivation in order to cultivate states of flow, ecstatic states of mind that are very healthy, very integrative, and which over time become your natural state of mind. In order to understand why there is such confusion about ecstatic states, we need to go back to the confusion there is about the desire or orientation of our mind towards a certain outcome versus how we go about obtaining it. We are told that we should not chase enlightenment because that keeps us away from it. And at the same time, what that does is it puts us in a bind because we have an intuition that something can be attained, that there is an orientation that, if only correctly channeled, will lead to states of mind that are usually outside of what is available, what is on offer in daily mundane life. So what to do about it? How can we chase ecstasies without preventing them from happening? And the way to do that is to essentially become more specific about what is the correct means, as Buddhism would speak of, and what is incorrect means. Correct means would be to have a general orientation towards those wholesome, integrative, and ecstatic states of mind, but also to be willing to do the work and go through the discomfort of trauma resolution in order for those states of mind to start becoming much more prevalent and natural for us. Incorrect or unwholesome means would be to hanker for those states of mind on a constant basis. And it's pretty clear that the hankering itself is quite the opposite of ecstatic states of mind. And also incorrect means would be to neglect the work of cleaning up your psychosomatics and only go for peak experience produced by either drugs, rituals, or some other kind of artificial means of giving you a peak, but not of raising the floor of your state of consciousness. So that if we make the intelligent distinction between correct and incorrect means of doing self-cultivation, ecstatic states of mind are most definitely on offer, and they become much more prevalent, much more available on demand, and sometimes even spontaneously, and sometimes sustained, if we do the right type of work, regardless of whether you are desiring them in a general sense or not. If you are actively desiring them, then of course you are in desire and that will take you away. But if you have a general orientation to cultivate your mind and be willing to do the right type of work, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The other thing that we need to watch out for is people who have reduced spirituality to a kind of practicality where it's only this, or it's already there. And I can recount a little bit what happened to me when I started to read Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now, which is, by the way, such a deep book that as you read it throughout the years, it just reveals so much more. But when I first read it, it made a very big impression on me. And yet when I tried to be in the now, and even when I succeeded being in the now, all I found was that the now was pretty lame. It was pretty boring, actually. There was nothing about it that would justify how powerful it seemingly was, much less would justify all the hymns and songs of praise and the scriptures and poets that ecstatic poets and writers would tell you about. These super high states of mind in which you were in union with the beloved, in which your heart would open and love would simply ooze out of you. There was none of that. And so I had to be a little bit persistent, and I had to inform myself, read more, and really find out, was it really on offer? Was ecstasy really on offer, or was it just a lame now in which sometimes you felt kind of bad, but we were just being present to it, and sometimes you felt kind of nice and that was okay, but really there was nothing more on offer than the same state of mind that you already had, but kind of being just more present and kind of going with the ups and downs of life and the comings and goings of pleasure and pain. And that is absolutely not the case. It might feel like that at the beginning of your journey because you're just too identified with the thinking mind. So the number of veils, the number of object relations and illusory perceptual filters that you have in front of you are just too many. And so you come to the now and you go like, oh yeah, this is the same damn thing, and now except it's boring and I feel kind of anxious. So what the hell would I exercise any of that? And this video is to tell you that desiring ecstasy is both valid and it's on offer, and that you should not give up. You should not stop halfway through, because if you continue with the work, if you really clear out your system, if you make your mind more focused, more stable, more aware, more equanimous, if you clean out all the trauma that we accumulate as part of the normal fragmentation and expansion that our nervous system goes through as we develop in our human form, if you reconsolidate all of that, the experience that is on offer is absolutely phenomenal. Is nothing short of magical. Magic is on offer. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because maybe they called off the search too soon, or they simply don't have one of the several attributes that are required to really experience those states, which are not few. You need to be super persistent. You need to be very curious. You need a high degree of sincerity. You need to be able to withstand a lot of dysphoria and bodily discomfort in search of something that is larger and therefore makes all of that worth the trouble. And yes, you need a degree of intelligence too, and you need to be able to process language in a very nuanced way so that you can imbibe the teachings and follow them the correct way. And the further you go, the more subtle it gets. So it's a very tricky path, as a matter of fact. But if you are willing to go the distance, the results are just magical, and they confirm the intuition you had, which was that you were selling yourself short, that you were not imbibing life and living to your full potential, not so much as an entrepreneur or a spouse or a parent or whatever, but really as a being having a human experience. So that is essentially it for today's video, and I hope that triggers some thought and some motivation. If you think it's interesting, I'm curious to hear what you have to say in the comments. I will also be traveling the next couple of weeks, making videos from out Charleston, South Carolina, so that's going to be really cool. And also, if you think that these videos benefit other people, then liking the video, sharing it with friends, family, and subscribing to the channel is very motivating to me and makes the content more widely available. Thanks again for listening, and as usual, I'll be back with more pretty soon. And until then, cheerio and bye-bye.